Here's how you can pull in data from a JetEngine glossary into a Bricksforge Pro form. Here on the back end, first let me head over to the JetEngine glossary. So I'll search for JetEngine. So that is under JetEngine, then JetEngine again, and then I'll look for the glossaries. And let's say I want to create a new glossary. So I can say create new glossary. I'll give it a name, maybe Nigerian states. And the data source, we can either use it manually or we can set it from an uploaded file. So let's just go ahead and say we want to upload a new file. And all I have to do is get a file, which should be in the CSV or JSON format. And then I'll just determine what is the value column and the label column. So let's go ahead and just generate a CSV now. So I'll use Claude and I'll generate a CSV of Nigerian states. So let's go ahead and generate that. And I'll use the generated CSV to populate my glossary. So let me go ahead and copy it. And I'll go ahead to my Windows file and create a new file, which will be a text file. And I'll just call it Nigerian states. First, I'll leave it as a text file. Paste that value in there, save it. Then I'll convert it into a CSV. Yes. So now that I have my file, I can go back to my JetEngine glossary, say select file. Then I want to upload a new file, select. That's my CSV. So now that I have my CSV, I can now upload it. And all I have to choose is the value column and the label column. So from the CSV, the value column is called value. So I just copy that then. And the label column was called label. That's it. So next, I can now go ahead and either convert it or I leave it the way it is. Well, let me just go ahead and convert it. And you see, we can now have our list of Nigerian states. So we can now use this glossary to populate an array field in our Bricksforge Pro Forms. So fields like the select field, the radio field, or the checkbox field, all of them can be populated using this glossary. And one nice thing about using a glossary is that you can now reuse it in multiple places. So it doesn't only have to be in one form, it can be used in multiple forms. So now let's take a look at how we can pull this glossary information, because by default, we don't have a direct way to do it, but I'll show you a simple and easy way to get it done. So now let's take a look. First, you go ahead and copy this function into your Code Snippets plugin or your child theme. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you can check it out. Then make sure you've whitelisted the function. So this function name, just going to copy it. You go over to another code snippet and you add it as a whitelist for your bricks. Otherwise, it will not work in bricks. So once the function has been whitelisted, you can now go ahead and use it in your Bricksforge Pro Forms. So let's go over to a form, and in the form, I will add a select field or maybe a radio field, radio. So that's the radio wrapper. And I'll delete the inner radio because we don't need the nested element. We're going to be using dynamic data. So I'll delete the nested radio. On the radio wrapper, you can give it a name. So maybe I'll say states in Nigeria. Then for the value, I'll be populating the options using dynamic data. So I'll go under options, change it from the nestable to dynamic data. Then we'll be using the echo function. So I'll open the curly bracket, type echo, colon, and then I'll paste that name I copied, which is get_glossary_JSON. Open the regular bracket with a space, and I'll put the value of the ID for the glossary I want to get. So in this case, I'm looking for, make sure it's saved, the Nigerian states, which has an ID of 26. So let's go back, and then I'll put 2, 6, and then I'll close all of the brackets. So close the bracket and close the curly bracket, and let's save it. Then refresh and see if it is populated. So you can see all of our states have been populated in the builder. You can also preview it on the front end. All of the states have been populated with the label and the value. We have the value, which is Abia, and the label is also Abia. So that is exactly what we did. If you are a dynamic shortcodes user, then you may not need to use the code snippet. There is a function that you can use from JetEngine, and you can just call in that function, because JetEngine has a function name that is called jet_engine, and then it returns an object. So you can just access the object, and you go into the glossaries, you access that, go into data, access that into the database, then query_cache, and post types. So once you've accessed this, you can now return the values in the format that you need. So you can use that as well. I'll leave both of them in the description somewhere. So if I come back to my form and I don't want to use the regular function, I can also use this. This time, let me use another field, maybe like the select field. And I'll delete the inner option. Then on the select wrapper, I'll change it from nestable to dynamic data. And this time I'm using that power shortcode. And all I'm just going to do is specify the ID. So at ID equal to, and the value was 26. I'll save that. And let's refresh the page. And you can see we get the same thing. So we get our select field with our options. So either one will work. I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please do leave a thumbs up so that I know it helps you out. Then let me know in the comments, which method do you prefer? Do you prefer to use dynamic shortcodes, or you prefer to write your own code snippet? So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.